Hello, I am New York City Mayor Eric Adams, and I want to thank my fellow mayors, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson and Denver Mayor Mike Johnston, for joining us today. As many of you are aware, we are again seeing a record number of crossing at our southern border. What that means for us in New York City is another surge in migrants arriving at our doors. Just a few weeks ago, Governor Abbott promised to send an additional 25,000 migrants to New York City alone. We expect the surge to intensify in the coming days and weeks. Last night, a flight chartered by the state of Texas, El Paso, the fog diverted the flight to Philadelphia, where migrants were loaded onto 5 buses that arrived this morning around 1 a.m. And just last week, 14 buses arrived in a single day, the most ever recorded by officials at our intake center. We are in close contact with other cities and state leaders across the country who are seeing a similar increase in arrivals. To better coordinate these arrivals today, I'm announcing an executive order requiring charter buses transporting migrants, those often contracted by the state of Texas, to provide 32-hour notice in advance of their arrival into New York City.
Hello, family. Welcome back to another episode of Journey to Harmony. I'm your host, Richard Harmon. Today, I want to come and bring you a story. The mayor of New York City, the mayor of Chicago, and the mayor of Denver had a joint press conference that they hosted just today. They came out, they stated their grievances with the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott. They stated the need overall for federal assistance in terms of the migrant crisis and how exactly they're going to move forward with this overall plan. This is something that I have not seen myself before in terms of a coordination between multiple mayors. But we see there what Mayor Adams stated is that Texas has promised they're going to send an additional 25,000. This is on top of the 160,000 they've already received, and this is going to continue. I'm not sure if you guys have seen. I put a picture up here, but the caravan that's currently headed to the Texas border, they're setting new records every single day. What's happening is the results and the plans that NYC, Chicago, and these other places are putting in place. All they're doing is encouraging more people to come. Their thoughts are, we need to get people working. We need to get people the ability to provide for themselves. Those who are in Africa, those who are in South America, those who are in China and Iran and all these different places, when they hear that, that means that, okay, they are preparing a way for us to make ourselves available and to land in the United States. So as you hear that, whatever amount of money you have, as immigrant citizen, as a son of immigrants, myself, you call to your family who's in the United States. You tell them, say, hey, listen, I need you guys to come up with a plane ticket. You fly from your state or your city. You fly to Colombia or Mexico and you walk that distance. They've pretty much greenlit everyone to walk into the United States. There's 7 billion people on the planet. If 1% of that amount, if maybe even less than that, somewhere, if 20 million people decide to cross the border in the next year, there isn't anything in place right now that says that they're going to stop this. And what's going to happen, the more it passes, I've been saying this now for some time, the more time that passes without action, the more the flood of people will come. And what happens is, even if you send the army at some point, there's going to be such an overwhelming amount of people that will be coming as a result of this, that it's going to be very difficult for many people to get over it. What does this mean for you and I? Having 10 million, 15, 20 million people additional in your country, in your state, that is inflationary. Whether for those of you who are looking for crashes in housing, those of you who are looking for a reduction in terms of the cost of food, this is going to be inflationary for all of us. Let me go ahead and play an additional video here of Mayor Brandon Johnson. He's talking a little bit about his overall situation. We can watch a little bit of that. If it's your first time watching, please hit that like button. Please consider subscribing. And here we go for the next part.
But this is a national problem that has only been exacerbated by Governor Abbott's cruel, inhumane politics, and that requires additional national solutions. The federal government must take responsibility and lead on this humanitarian crisis instead of leaving it for cities and localities to handle. I want to now turn it over to my colleague, the Mayor of Chicago, Mayor Johnson.
Well, thank you, Mayor Adams. Thank you for your leadership and thank you for your commitment to this mission. I'm grateful to be joined also by the Mayor of Denver, Mayor Mike Johnston. Thank you for your leadership and your commitment to this mission as well. Has been articulated on multiple occasions that the lack of care that has been on display for the last year and a half has created an incredible amount of chaos, not just in the city of Chicago, but our country. As buses continue to arrive in the city of Chicago and all over the country, the type of chaos that has been administered has left many of our local economies under a tremendous amount of duress. Road buses arriving not just in the city of Chicago, but surrounding communities as well. Some neighborhoods as far reaching as an hour and a half outside of the city of Chicago, buses sent by the governor of Texas, literally dropping families off in the middle of nowhere. These families have experienced a great deal of political turmoil, trekking hundreds of thousands of miles to get to the border without real care, without real processing, and without a system in place to address this crisis. Since taking office over the last 7 months, my administration has worked in collaboration with the County of Cook, with the state of Illinois, as well as my full force of my administration to address this humanitarian crisis. The reckless and quite frankly, the unsafe behavior of the governor of Texas has caused a great deal of trepidation, to say the least. And as a result of that, we have done our very best to bring some structure and calm to this crisis. An orderly and a humane approach is what's required in this moment. And over the past 7 months, we've received hundreds of buses, some in the middle of the night, and again, some in the outskirts of the city of Chicago, with little to no coordination. I've stood up 27 shelters. We are housing currently nearly 15,000 asylum seekers, providing mental health care, educating 4,500 students, while also creating a pathway to sustainability. But we cannot do this alone. We need more support from the federal government. And today we stand charged and committed to ensure that our respective cities do our part, and we need the federal government to lean in and provide more financial assistance. All of our cities have reached a point where we are either close to capacity or nearly out of room.
All right, guys, you guys see there, once again, the mayor of Chicago, he continues to speak and say that it is the fault of the governor of Texas, and overall it's not their overall responsibility. I think what many of those who are talking about coordination, they're basically telling them, hey, listen, we work from 8 o'clock until 5 o'clock, and then if it's not between those hours, I think his exact words were, if it's not between those hours, don't send anyone. Which is pretty wild because Texas is getting people nonstop every single day at all hours of the day. We're seeing a lot of hypocrisy here. We're seeing a lot of people who are stating that they want something to be done orderly while seeing that the issue in Texas is not something that's orderly. This is, in my opinion, this is just the beginning. We have 11 months, 12 months until 13 months basically until the election of the new president. If it's President Trump, we will see something where it's actual work is done and something's actually completed. But in the situation that is not President Trump, who knows? You know, like this is my expectation. Seriously, is that we could see 10 to 15 million people cross the border in the next year. What's happening right now is people are realizing around the world, just like it was in 2020, if Trump is elected, your opportunity to get in is closed for 4 years. So you're going to see everyone who has any kind of resources in any part of the country, in any part of the world, who looks and who's ever desired to come to America say, you know what, I may not be able to get in legally, but if I can get to the Mexican border, I can get into the country. And again, this is something that's going to affect everyone. Yeah, this is while we're looking at it and we're seeing it's being done in New York City and Chicago and Denver. This is coming to Atlanta. This is coming to Oklahoma City. This is going to be sent to Florida. This is going to be sent to New Jersey. This is going to overwhelm the country. Texas and Governor Abbott has stated he's not going to sit back and allow his city to just be his state to be overrun. He's going to everyone is going to share in this particular dealing. And again, for many people who are there, so at some point, people in New York, people in California, they'll get up and decide that it's too expensive. They don't want to live there anymore. They'll move to the southern states. They'll move somewhere else. People in the southern states might try to move to Montana or Maine or something like this. This is going to affect everyone in the country, and we're watching a situation here that is historic in nature. How exactly the Biden administration responds to this will be interesting, but we see, like New York City has stated that they've been able to get 100,000 people identification, starting them on the path of being able to work and things of that nature. This is going to affect wages. As you have more people who are willing to do work, you're going to have less and less overall need. More people applying for one job and less people who are there. So this is a amazing moment right now in U.S. history. What exactly it happens? We are here who have skills that are in demand, namely trade skills. That there's going to be a huge opportunity from it. A thought of mine as well, right? So the infrastructure bill is coming, and that's going to need a lot of physical labor. My thought right now is are they bringing so many people in because they know that they need so much labor, and they have cheap workers overall? What are your thoughts on this? Please comment below. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining. Have a good day.